All right, guys, looks like we are up and recording. My name is Mark. I'm so glad that you guys are here. Retirement for Seniors is the name of our group. You can find us right here on SKOOL Community. And of course, you can find us on YouTube. And then if you want to see some additional courses that we have available for you, or some books or videotapes or audio tapes, you can go off to our website, and that is retirementforseniors.org. Retirementforseniors.org. So be sure that you stop by and check us out. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and get started today. Now, today we're going to talk about senior scams. Let me get my screen up here, share it with you guys. And there you go. Now you should be able to see that just fine. All right, and let me bring this one up as well. Okay, move a few things around so I can see it. All right, so like I said, today we're going to talk about senior scams. Really, I'm going to take you from the very beginning, what to do before so that you protect yourself, what to do if you're in the middle of a crisis, and then what you can do afterwards. How do you report it? Because if you have just recently made a payment to your scammer, and I mean recent, if you get a hold of the bank, and I actually have a bank script you can use, then they do have a chance to stop that and pull it back if the scammers haven't taken the money out of that account yet. But time is critical. So you guys have to jump on this as quickly as you can. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started with this. So, first thing we're going to do is, if it moves forward. Okay. I got a short video from the FBI. It's a great video. Just take a quick listen.
World War II and Korea. I was a federal judge. I was the director of the FBI, director of the CIA, and I was the target of an elder fraud scheme. Don't fall for scammers' promises of money, friendship, love, or romance. These are criminals who want to take one thing: your money. You've worked hard. You've saved. Don't let criminals try to take that away from you. If you or a loved one have been affected by elder fraud, contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit ic3.gov to file a complaint. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you.
How powerful was that? That just shows a lot of you know some of my background and training. I've spent a total of maybe 30 years as an investigator. For a while, it was my own agency that I had up and running. And I went to work with the ex-director of the FBI, and he had an agency here in Kansas City, and I was a protection specialist. So I worked with a lot of very high-level people. And to me, I am just amazed because I do know a lot of the training that the FBI takes. I know a lot of the training that law enforcement takes. It's the same training I've taken. So these guys know about scams. They're very, very aware. They deal with this kind of thing on a day in, day out basis. And just the fact that he was a victim, actually, it goes into more detail later on if you read the story. And it's more about his wife. And then they started to threaten his wife. Well, the guy was with the CIA, not the smartest thing they could have done. So, needless to say, it did end out very, very well for the family, thank goodness, because they jumped on it very quickly. All right, so moving on, I want to get into this thing called the Senior Threat Matrix. Okay, now on the left, you're going to see the different scam types, and these are very generalized. I have taken a few of these and run with specific videos just talking about those scams. I'm going to go through a scammer series, and we're going to break down each one of these. Because if I could pull the curtain back on the villain, the scammer so that you know the things to say, the things to do, then if I help one person, it's all worth it. All right. So number one will be your tech support. So what does that look like? Well, you either have gotten a virus because maybe you tried to download one of the real popular video games for your phone, or you get somebody that calls you. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Norton tries to um, have me buy their security software for $499, and it's strictly a scam. And I mean, I've been around for so long, and with my background, it's very very easy for me to understand those kind of things. It's getting a lot harder with AI nowadays. It's very very easy to start scamming people. I don't know if you remember back in the days when Oprah had a weight loss gummy. Well, they totally got my wife. Now, she didn't spend any money, but she just wanted to lose weight taking a gummy. That sounded great. And then, of course, now all these other medications have come out. But, you can very easily fall for something like that, whether it's on the internet, whether you get something on your phone, or if you get a phone call, and scammers are used to doing this. Now, the big thing that you can look for, and this will kind of make the hairs go up on the back of your head, is they're demanding remote access to your computer. And there is no reason that anybody is going to do that unless it is truly a legitimate group. And the only way that I will ever do that is if it's somebody that I worked before, that I know, I'm on the other side, I can pull the plug immediately, or the guy has been out here working. Now, if you're trying to connect to somebody and you think it's Microsoft support and they want to get access, no, don't do it. Hang up, turn around, and call them and just verify. All right, number two is government impersonation. So you could get a call from Social Security, you can get a call from Medicare, even the IRS. That was a huge one. And I know somebody that got scammed from the police. Now, let me just do this backwards real quick. The police, the individual was a little tough to hear. It's like English was a second language, but you heard the crackle of the scanner in the background. Well, that's a cheap program you could download for your phone to make it sound legit. And so they said that they had a family member and they wanted money to be sent because a family member was out of town. And these guys practice these scripts every single day, guys. So it's very, very easy for someone who's not paying attention, an elder, to get scammed. You got Social Security. That's another big one. Going down to romance, that's AKA pig butchering. I've done a few videos on that. I've actually told a story about a friend of the family who was taken for $1 million. That was all of her settlement, and they got it all. And so now she has to live with family. She can't live in the nursing home and be with fellow seniors because she thought she was in love. She thought it was real. And guys, it just wasn't. So it builds real, real deep trust online. They may even send you gifts. Well, go check those gifts, because when they did with the individual that I know, they're like not even real diamonds. So it's like the gifts that you think they're sending you that are worth thousands of dollars, they're basically glass. Okay, so be real careful. Crypto's kind of on the downward trend right now, so you don't see a lot of crypto scams. You do see some investment scams. Typically, those are online. They're promising guarantees. There is absolutely no promise. Basically, what they do is they slowly drain your retirement savings over fake portals. So they give you a portal, they establish the relationship with you. You log on, it looks like, say, Binance or Kraken or one of the major crypto or investment places. Maybe it looks like TD America, maybe it looks like Edward Jones. And this is how they do it. And they just, it looks like it's going up, and you're real happy with them. But in fact, that's all controlled by them. They just keep taking money, and then the site goes away and the phone doesn't get answered anymore. So that is how they do the investment or or a crypto scam. And then, of course, the one that a lot of people used to fall for, but not so much, the prize or sweepstakes. And so you get something that says, congratulations, you're the winner of a trip, you're the winner of money or whatever. But before I do this, the government requires that you do pay the taxes. I'm sure you understand. So why don't you go ahead and send me, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and then you get your 10, 20, 30, $50,000 check. Okay. Well, it doesn't work that way, guys, because if it did, if the amount is so much, then they will deduct that for the IRS before you actually ever see it. And I think you're somewhere in the $10,000 range. I know that's what it is for casinos when I used to consult casino security. So just kind of give you an idea, that is kind of the matrix. Those are kind of things that you're going to see. Now, what happens in emergency situation? Well, always, number one is stop. No matter what you're doing, go ahead and stop and hang up. If it is legit, they will understand. They will call you back. If there are any links on the page, don't click them. Get out of whatever program you're connected. Don't ever let them send you to something like a WhatsApp. You always stay on a website or customer service portal. And if they give you some links to click on, nope, don't. Slow everything down. That's one thing criminals try to do. Step two is verifying. You want to call the institution, you want to call the bank, you want to call TD Ameritrade or whoever, and talk to someone you trust there. No shame in double checking. Okay. You could say, I think I may be scammed. Are you trying to talk to me about an annuity or this or that or whatever the situation is? Very easy to double check, but do not give anybody any information until you can verify it. And especially if you're going to be working with financial, go see them first. See them first. Get the relationship with them first so that you can say something like, how are your grandkids? What were their names? And they'll say, yeah, Susie and Timmy. Go, oh, yeah, that's right, Susie and Timmy. Now you know you're talking to the right individual. All right. Step three, secure. Change shared passwords. You can't do that, guys. Don't ever share passwords, especially in a work environment. One of the top jobs that I got for an international company, it was basically like Enron. And I apologize for whatever reason. Yard service is standing right there with a blower. So hopefully you can hear me. And so what I did was my job was to break into the computer system. So I went to the first desk, and the drawer I pulled out, there was a Post-it with the access. So I busted a case that I was supposed to break into a very large, it was a $43 billion company, and I broke into them in minutes. And it's not that I was that good, it was that they made it easy for me. So be careful when you write down passwords. We're going to talk about that up in the training. And then finally, contact your bank immediately. Okay. See if they can do a reversal. If you've made that payment, that's why they're going to try to get you to get these gift cards, because it's a real hard on gift cards to get those back. If you've got to do gift cards, and as a matter of fact, a lot of places that sell them, if they see a senior citizen buying a $500 or $1,000 gift card, I can tell you the CVS pharmacy does it. They will ask people to make sure that they are not being scammed. Okay. So you can always file a complaint at reportfraud.ftc.gov or call 833-FRAUD-11. Okay. All right. So real quick, here's some of the topics we're going to talk about today. You want to stop communication right now. If something sounds fishy, end it. Stop it. Hang up on them. It's okay to be rude. Hang up on them. Okay. You want to call the bank or the credit card agency. You want to say, hey, did you just call here? I didn't want to talk to so-and-so. You never call back a number. If you say, I'm going to give you a call in just a moment. If they say, okay, well, here's my direct line, you never want to call them that way. You want to go to the website, just regular Google search, and get whatever phone number is public, and that's what you call. If they can't connect to a Timmy or they don't have a Timmy working for them, Well, you just saved yourself tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. Finally, we're going to talk about number 3, save evidence before deleting. Now, this is something I know a little bit about. I don't expect you to do amazing things when it comes to evidence collection, but I am going to give you some tips on what you can do. Also, we're going to talk about changing passwords. I'm going to make it so easy for you to remember a password that what you've done in the past, worrying about the upper and the lower and the funny characters and the numbers and all that, I'm going to make it so easy for you, piece of cake. And I bet you're going to wish you had this information years ago. All right, number 5, report the scam. Tell a trusted friend, tell a loved one. You know, you're going to learn in this training, because my goal for this training is, if you have a loved one, if you think they're being scammed, send the link to this video. It is going to be live on SKOOL. I'm also going to copy it and put it over on YouTube. Send people the link to this video right here. And then I also will have a printout that follows this as well. And I'll tell you about where to find that in just a moment, so that you know. I've got a cousin in another city not too far away, and she's been scammed, and she didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. This is the kind of thing that I wish she had that knowledge, because she would still have her money. Okay. You can't come to people with shame. All you can do is come to them with love and support. Okay. If it's done, it's done. Work with the bank, try to stop it. All right. Then you're going to tell your trusted friend. Then we're going to talk about a family safety phrase, and I've used this for over 30 years, and I'll tell you why. Payment red flags, and then, of course, a disclaimer, because we may talk a little bit about finances. We may talk a little bit about crypto. And I just want to be sure you realize that I'm not a certified trainer or a certified financial advisor, and that my job is, I've been through this. I have taught training to close to 6,000 people across the country. So I've gone into corporations and did training with 2,000 and 3,000 people at a time. So just so that you know, okay? All right, so let's jump to our very first thing. Now, I want to be sure you guys understand this is so important. If you think you're being scammed, stop now. End communication. Hang up. If you're a senior, and I know you want to be nice to everybody, and I get that, but guys, this is the criminal trying to separate you from your money. Don't let that happen. Okay, absolutely. Just hang up, right? Call the bank back. Say it's Bank America. I'm just picking one. Call them back. Say, do you have a loan specialist named Carol? No, we don't have anybody by that name. Well, guys, you just saved yourself thousands and thousands of dollars. Never, ever explain your situation. Look, I don't really want to talk to you. You know, my son-in-law tells me that I shouldn't be talking to strangers. And guys, these are people that practice scripts every single day. So you want to be careful. Never, never argue with them. Okay. If you're arguing, just hang up, because they're going to push you and try to intimidate you. And then don't ever press buttons. So if they tell you, all right, well, if you want to disconnect with me, go ahead and press 7. No, 7 is liable to do something that you don't want. 7 could be the trigger for a virus on a phone. So you just never really know. All right. Now, number 2, if it's a computer pop-up, disconnect it from the internet, right? All you're going to do is take that little Cat 5, Cat 6 cable, not the power cable. You want to try to preserve evidence. Disconnect it from Wi-Fi. If you're on a laptop, just let it stand there. Keep it going. Make sure if it's a laptop, it is powered up. And this way you can take it to a professional, or have a professional come to your residence, and they can clean any viruses off of it. A lot of times, if you take the system down, you bring it back up again, that's when it loads the virus that's already on your computer. And then next, you're going to never click on any links, open attachments, scan a QR code. Now, for those of you that don't know what a QR code, that is that little squiggly right over here. So you should be able to see that. All right. Now, I will tell you that is actually safe. If you want to take your camera, and I've got mine right here. Let me just show you how to do this the right way. Okay. And I don't know how this is going to work on a cell phone, but we're going to do it. All right. So now you can start to see that's the camera. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to grab that QR code. Okay. It found it. You can see this little line right here. When you touch it right there, it takes you to, there you go. That's my YouTube page. Okay. So there's a lot of benefit, and a lot of people will use these QR codes. I use them all the time. They're nothing to be afraid of. Okay. As long as you trust the source. If you find something in an AARP magazine, a lot of times there's things on insurance and funerals and those kind of things, and they use this. Go ahead and use it if you want to. That's fine, as long as it's a trusted source. AARP is a trusted source. Okay. But if you get a unusual letter and it says, here's the QR code, no, don't do it. Just don't do it. Trust me. You don't know anybody in Zimbabwe. The president of a country doesn't know who you are sitting in the middle of the US or Iowa or Utah. He doesn't know you. So don't ever click on anything like that. All right. So we're going to talk about evidence coming up. The first thing you want to do is you want to call the bank or the credit card company. Use the phone number on the back of your card. Okay. So important. Or one of your statements, or go to the internet and find, say, Bank America and their customer service or their fraud department. Okay. Number two, ask for the fraud department 110% of the time. You don't want to spend time trying to explain your situation to somebody that answers the phone. You want to immediately get to a fraud agent so they can lock your card down immediately and get you a new one in the mail. Okay. Again, I apologize if you hear some noise. That is the yard service, and they are extremely loud. Action number three, ask if a wire transfer, Zelle, gift card, crypto, check payment can be stopped. A lot of times it can. FBI even recovered crypto because the address that they had sent it to, the scammers had not taken the crypto out and moved it to a different wallet. Whole nother story I'll get involved with on another day. All right, so here is evidence saving. Okay, this is a very, very basic course, something that I probably have 30 or 40 hours just in evidence. I did some fire investigations. I did some theft investigations. I've done a few death investigations. So I really honed my skills in a basic manner for you who is unfamiliar. You want to take things like screenshots. You want to use a phone that you know that you're not being scammed on. You want to borrow a spouse's phone or a boyfriend, girlfriend's phone. Take screenshots of all the emails, all the texts, any payment receipt, any caller ID, account names, websites, basically everything, and document it, right? Grab yourself one of the spiral notebooks and just start writing page to page to page. This is what I did. This is what I saw. This is who I called. This is who's supposed to call me back. This is the name of the computer source that's coming out to work with me to remove potential viruses. Be sure that you write down the times, the phone numbers, email addresses, the amounts, and exactly what they said, okay, as best as you can. If you take a look on your phone, no matter what type of phone you have, you have the ability to actually record a conversation. Now, you have to be very, very careful. The state that I am in allows one person notification. Now, what does that mean? That means I'm one person in the call who knows that it's being recorded. I have no obligation to tell the other individual. Okay. But in certain states, you have two-party notifications where you have to say, and I know you've heard it, this call may be monitored for training purposes. Okay. So go ahead. You're being scammed, guys. If that's the worst thing that you did, trust me, your prosecutor, the prosecuting attorney, they're going to slap you on the wrist. Maybe some of the information you gathered would not be necessarily admissible. That's why they say write it all down, document it. If you can get a recording, great. Don't tell the other person recording. Be real careful on some phones. You can push a button and said now recording so they know it is. If they hang up, guys, then you just saved yourself a lot of money. And finally, you want to keep receipts, gift cards, numbers, wires, crypto wallet addresses, and any shipping labels. So if you're like this one individual that I know sent 3 very high dollar laptops to a New York address, and it was forwarded over to India. And she was being scammed out of a very large group that the FBI worked with the government overseas. And, they were able to get those folks closed down. Now, remember, this is probably the biggest thing that I can share with you today. Slow down. Okay, stop. Think about it. Scammers are going to try to rush you past what you're doing. They want to get you excited. They want to get you nervous. You want to slow down. Now, if it's a real organization, then they're going to take time, or they're going to understand. They're going to appreciate you. Maybe you heard something on TV and you want to donate because there's been a flood and there's a influx of dogs and cats, and maybe you want to pay. Well, okay, slow down. Those places know people are going to verify that they are a legitimate and not a scam. However, during disasters, there's always a bunch of scammers, so be very careful about that. I know a couple of people that were taken on basically they were going to put the dogs down. Well, they didn't have any dogs, right? It was totally a scam. And remember, the bottom line here, hang up immediately. You don't have to apologize. They're trying to separate you from your money. Hang up immediately, guys. Call the police. The police are used to dealing with this. Guys, there is no shame. This happens. You just saw the head of the CIA, the head of the FBI was scammed, right? So if they can do that to him, imagine what they can do to somebody that is uneducated, right? My wife, who's lived with me, who knows my background and my training, she was in the process of getting scammed on that Oprah gummy thing I talked about earlier. And we were able to get it stopped before any money went out. So, and of course, IC3.gov, you can always trust anything that is .gov, okay? Just be real careful that you're sure that it is truly a .gov website. All right, guys, now we're going to talk about something really, really super important. And I may blow your mind on, I believe, the next page. But when it comes to your passwords, you want to change your passwords often. Write them down on a piece of paper, not in an office situation in your home. Put it in a safe where only you know, okay? Or you can use one of a different group of programs. I'm going to tell you what I use because this isn't being sponsored, right? So start with email, banking, credit cards, Social Security, Medicare, phone carrier, shopping accounts. Basically, any type of account you want to go ahead and resecure. You want to use a different password for each. And I know that's really hard for some people. So it is possible when you make up your password to include the name of the store. And I'll explain that to you in just a second. You also want to turn on anything like two-person authentication. Okay. All right. So guys, when we're going to be talking about these things called phrases, and phrases are exactly that. You'll see on the next slide. Phrases are so much more powerful and easy for you to remember than trying to remember a whole bunch of letters. And was it a capital B? Was it a lowercase b? Is that really a 0 or an O or a capital O? You want to stay away from those because those are so easy to get confused. All right, so here we go. If there's anything that you get from today's training, boom, here it is. Change your passwords, right? The single best password is phrases. Okay. Now I've color coded some for you. Here's one that I made. I happen to love ice cream. I grew up with the soda fountain, like the old fashioned soda fountain in our house, right? So lowercase I, uppercase letter. So now you've got lower and upper. Love, lowercase ice cream. You got the at sign. So you've got a character or a different type of type. And then two, like I love ice cream too. Okay, real simple for somebody like me to remember that. Next one, if you're a creator and you're on YouTube, so if you're watching this on SKOOL, probably you are a creator. So you want to take a look at how creator is. Now, I broke my own rule here, and I'm going to tell you why. So you see capital C, so you've got the capital, you've got the lower R-E at sign T O. Well, that's actually a zero. Okay. So if you think you're going to be concerned about that, you're not going to get that one right. Just use the actual small O R. So we've got creator on YouTube 26. So if you drop that zero, you still have the numerical at the end, 26. All right. So I know that is really confusing for a lot of seniors who are not technology forward. Guys, I understand it. So here's what I do. This is something I have used for years. And also, along with my corporate security, I'm also a certified disaster recovery specialist. And so I would go into these major utilities and power plants and substations and make sure that if they had a disaster, they stayed up because you got your hospitals and people are on life support. And sometimes, their generators don't work. There's an error or problem. So I'm certified when it comes to that. Guys, I can tell you that I have used these for years. They are absolutely wonderful. What I use this one in red, LastPass. I've used that for years. It is on my cell phone. I use it at home. My wife has got it. She's got her whole set. It is one that our whole family uses, right? Now, I did some searching and some of the programs have kind of jockeyed in which ones are better. RoboForm has got a 9.6 star rating. That is pretty good, right? LastPass is right up there, right with them. And you've got Keeper. Keeper is a 9.3, okay? Now, you also want to set up things called authentications. And these are, and I don't want to show you because you can copy it very quickly, but these are a couple like Google authentications or Authy. I think that's how you pronounce it. And those are the only two that I'm using today. And basically, it's a randomly generated number algorithm. And you get basically a 1 minute. So it will say, okay, what's your authentication number? I'm sure you do this with bank or maybe Amazon or a few other businesses. So you can set that up and you can add that on a lot of different programs if you want to, if that would be easier for you. Okay. Now we're going to talk about, boom, you're scammed, right? What do you do? So you can contact these three groups: reportfraud.ftc.gov. Now, that is if you believe you or somebody you suspect has been scammed, go ahead and contact them. Go ahead and file it. It's always best to have your scammer be the ones because they know all the critical information that you may or may not know. Like I said, if you get a chance to record it, prosecuting attorney, that's a minor offense for you. That is not legal information. Do only what law enforcement tells you to do. But the experience that I have had, I have never heard of a prosecuting attorney when somebody's trying to protect themselves from senior fraud to ever have a problem with it, ever. So again, not advice per se. This is just things that I have learned and things that I have done. So report your fraud or your scam to reportfraud.ftc.gov, right? I'm also going to make this available in a recording format so you can come back and you can watch it. And I'll have a 1-page printout, or I'm sorry, a 4-page printout that has all this information. Next is identitytheft.gov. And finally, IC3.gov. IC3 is more cyber related. So that is your crypto, your online payments, your cyber fraud. If somebody's being a cyber bully, use IC3.gov. There you go. All right. Now, what happens? Now, this is where shame comes in, guys. And if you are the family member of somebody that is currently being scammed, please don't come to them. They feel enough shame as it is. Don't go, how can you do that? Right? So just come to them from love. Just say, hey, I understand this happened. It's okay. Let me help you. Who have you called? You call the bank. I'll call this credit card company. Come from love, right? So tell a trusted friend, call a family member, a close friend, your pastor. You want to be real careful. If you think you're being scammed, don't wait until Sunday when you see your pastor, but call somebody that you trust that will not judge you and has your best heart in mind. Okay. Number 2, don't be embarrassed. Scammers count on you being embarrassed, right? They're going to tell you, don't say anything to anybody. That's wrong, guys. That is so wrong. You want to tell somebody somewhere. Call your law enforcement, call 911, call wherever you are in the country that you're watching this, call whatever emergency services. They have it too. They are used to doing this. Now, there is a point in time where they realize they're caught and they're going to try to intimidate you with one last $1,000 payment, right? All right. So if you think you are in immediate danger, I know somebody that got a whole bunch of pizzas sent to their house, and it was several $100s, and that was from the scammer. And, they can be mean, they can be vindictive. So you want law enforcement to know this well in advance so that if the pizza restaurant wants to push you for it and say, well, it's not my problem. Well, yeah, it actually is. You're not going to pay for them. Okay. So they can give them to you free, All right, guys. Now let's talk about family safety phrases, right? And I want to be real with you on this, guys, because part of my background when I used to work with the ex-director of the FBI and his agency was doing personal protection. So I've done names like Bush, Dole, Coretta Scott King, Martin Luther King's wife. I've done Negro League Hall of Famer, Buck O'Neill. I've done major corporations. I've done senators and congressmen, right? I always tell them I have a phrase that I use. Now, if you're being held against your will and you have somebody like a family member, you want to have some kind of a safety phrase, right? And when I say this safety phrase like blue porch light, this is the one that we have down on the screen. If I were to say blue porch light, at that point, you just let your body go limp, right? And they can't hold you up. And my family knows, and this is not our safety phrase, but this is an example. My family knows the next thing I'm doing is, and I'm taking care of this situation, right? I'm not advocating guns. I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating anything. But with the type of training that I've had with members of law enforcement, if we are good at using a firearm, there is nothing wrong with this as long as you wait, you practice this drill. Again, I'm not advocating for this. I'm not telling you to do this. As a matter of fact, I'm telling you not to do this. It's just in my family with the training that I've had, with the training that my children, because they had death threats because of some of the strike work that I was working for some major companies, right? And the unions were trying to go and capture my kids. So we have a set phrase, and I'm trying really hard not to get it out there because my kids have known them from when they were little children, right? And they have their own children now, and they with their own personal safety phrase. So you want grandma to know this, right? You want to tell grandma the one private phrase that nobody else knows, right? And so if grandma's sitting on the phone and talking to a scammer, and they said, well, sure, I'll put Billy on, and Billy's just kind of like, and they're kind of hiding who they are. You can't do it. Say, hey, Billy, what is our family phrase? Click. That's simple. Use a family phrase. Don't use blue porch light, please. I've given this too many times, but come up with your own phrase, and that is basically what you use. Now, let's jump over to payments. So let's say you're actively being scammed by someone. Again, hang up, stop. Typically, so you know this is for your training, they're going to ask you for gift cards. That is one of the hardest things for law enforcement to get back. When you give them the number on the back of the gift card, that money is gone. It is transferred. It is out of there, right? It's unlike, some bank transfer or crypto transfer or something like that. Scammers want you to use prepaid cards, right? Bitcoins, ATM, wire transfers, payment apps. Be real careful because a lot of payment apps are scammers related. Now, you may also get a payment app and you're going to pay 30-40% interest. So you want to be real careful on those too. Any demands to keep it secret? Hey, red flag, shout it from the mountaintop, right? Anybody tells you got to act right now. Okay, I'm not going to play games with you. I'm going to send your grandson, over to booking, and you're not going to be able to bail him out. No, these are all scare tactics. They're trying to get you to do something. They may tell you, I'm with the IRS, and if you don't give me a prepaid gift card, for $1,000, then we're going to put a tax warrant out for you. You're going to be arrested, and you're going to be embarrassed because everybody in your living community, they're all going to see you go out in handcuffs, right? Well, if I didn't know what I know, I'd be scared too. So always ask to call back. If they tell you no, it's a sign. Hang up, right? So if a caller claims to be from the IRS, Medicare, bank security, police, grandchildren, tech support, doesn't matter. If they're asking for money, verify, call them back. Now, if you hear, grandma, this is John, I'm been arrested, I need some money, come bail me out. It may be legitimate, call the local law enforcement in that area. Make sure that they're actually holding your grandson. It may be a legitimate time where he just needs some money to get out because he just forgot and was stupid for a second. I mean, it happens to all of us from time to time. So just so that you guys know, always verify it. And if you're talking to your grandson, hey, grandson, what is our phrase, right? You want to be real careful because he could be around criminals and they may hear that. But if he whispers, blue porch light, then it's legitimate, right? All right, guys. So here's something that I'm going to leave out for just a second. How are we doing on time? Perfect. Okay. Make something like this or do a screenshot and print this off. Now, I actually have a document that I'm going to show you in just a moment where you can just go in and print off this whole training that I just got done doing, all concise in about 4 pages, right? 2 pages front and back. So you want your trusted person, a couple of them, you want your bank fraud. Go ahead and do this now so that you're going to call Susie or Fred or Ginger, and they work in the bank fraud. They're the head of the bank fraud, okay? And put that number down. Also, who is your computer help person? Maybe you need to call somebody like a Best Buy. Don't you want to contact them directly, or you want to take it to their shop and let them do it. There are a lot of wonderful folks that will come out. I have some people come out and do my networking because I've got multiple wires going from one end of the house to the other because of my background in security. And that's all I'm going to share. I'm not going to say anything else. All right. So now, guys, really, a lot of this is going to be absolutely free, right? For trusted training, go to our website, retirementforseniors.org. Okay. Now, I do have books and tapes and courses. Those are behind a paywall. You'll pay anywhere from $4.99 up to, I think, $99 is my most expensive course, and that's going to $199 in a couple of months. I just wanted to get that up and working, right? Also, you can go to Retirement for Seniors right here on SKOOL. Okay. Just go in into Discover and type in Retirement for Seniors, and there we are. Join us, and you'll start to see a lot of training exactly like this. We've got a lot of free videos that are out there. Any of my courses, you'll always get the first video free of charge. So you can see my courses, the kind of quality. They're always very, very high quality. And I really believe in a lot of visual aids. I think that's really important because a lot of people are the kind of people that like to see it. Some people are auditory and they have to hear it. All right. And finally, there is the Elder Fraud and Scam Prevention Training. Head over to the DOJ or the Justice Department or the FBI. All of them have some form of wonderful training that is absolutely free of charge. Okay. All right, guys. So this is really just educational only. It is not any kind of legal, financial, medical, mental health advice. Please, guys, always hire a professional. Now, I will tell you that I am offering a free coaching session, one-on-one. Okay. You can go to my SKOOL community. You can go to my website at retirementforseniors.org. You can sign up for a free 30-minute one-on-one coaching session. If you think you're being scammed, guys, it is free. Now, I have been booking up right and left. It is still open. I still have some days that have not been taken. I get a lot of them from here in the States and as far as South Africa. So I had a lovely lady that we tried to help her, and I actually just sent her the course. So if I think that I have something that can help you, I don't mind sharing my information with you, a free book or a free handout. And I'm going to show you the handout here in just a minute. Okay. So any questions? Let me pull up and move some things around a little bit here. Give me just a moment. Let me stop sharing. And let me close that out. All right, guys. So you should be back here. So any questions? If you have questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. I know we had a couple of people here earlier. Sandy was trying to log on. She was not able to get on. She wanted to pop on camera and tell everybody hi. She's the second part of our duo here on Retirement for Seniors. And I'm not seeing anything right up here. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and log off. Remember, you want to stop. You want to think. You want to control the narrative. You want to call them back. You want to use your passphrase, your special phrase like blue porch light or whatever the case may be, kind of like in my situation, which was more of a safety situation. And I will tell you, I'm not unusual. Almost all law enforcement have something like that with their families as well. So, what I'm saying is not unusual. This may be something that you want to do. Again, it is strictly what I do in my family. I am not advocating that you do something like that. But use your phrases, right? Use your safety phrases. That way you know if you're on the phone to Johnny or not. right? All right. Since there are no other questions, guys, you can go ahead and jump onto the comments. So feel free to comment when you see this here on YouTube, because we are recording on SKOOL right now within the SKOOL community. Then go ahead and drop the information down there in the comments section. I'll have some information there. And I'll also have some links available that you can print this whole presentation and you can watch this whole presentation again. Guys, this is so important, and this is why I wanted to get this out today, is that coming into the holiday weekend, a lot of people are going to be home. If you suspect or you think your grandparents or your parents maybe are starting to have some memory, cognitive issues, it is really important that you get this training into their hands, or you sit and you watch it with them and you make sure that they understand how important. They were taught not to be rude, hang up the phone, preserve your evidence, disconnect it from the internet. If you're on a laptop, log off from your network, right? Preserve it, take it, call somebody and show. Or log on and do the one-on-one with me, 30 minutes, absolutely free of charge. We'll talk about whatever you want, senior related or scammed, if you think you're being scammed. And I'll give you all the resources I can to help you. All right, guys, we're hitting that time, so I'm going to step on out. My name is Mark, Retirement for Seniors. Okay. You want to check us out on SKOOL. If you're not a member of our community, it is absolutely free for now. So go ahead and jump in. I only have 1 or 2 courses that are paid, but it's very inexpensive. Prices are all going to jump up as we grow the community. So now is a great time to get into it. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure that you're a subscriber so you catch all the scammer videos. We're going to be putting out a whole series of pulling back the curtain so that scammers cannot scam people, that people are smarter and they know what to do and they know how to protect themselves. So send it to your loved ones. That's it, my friends. Mark, Retirement for Seniors. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you real soon. Bye for now.